Welcome everyone. Today I'm going to show you how to make an aviation cocktail. This is one of my all-time favourite drinks and it's got a really interesting history that goes all the way back to 1916. So the aviation needs gin, maraschino liqueur, lemon juice and violet liqueur. And that's where the story starts, because the original recipe for the aviation was published in 1916 by Hugo Enslin, who was a bartender in New York. Now, his book, which was filled with a whole lot of recipes that he used for different cocktails, turned out to be the last cocktail recipe book to come out in the US before Prohibition. As Prohibition went on, it became harder and harder to get all the ingredients that people had previously used in the popular cocktails of the early 20th century. So the version of the aviation that most people know was published in the 1930s, and it doesn't have the violet liqueur. Now, people didn't realize that that recipe was not the original until about 10 years ago, when Hugo Enslin's book was rediscovered. And when people realized that this book, this earlier book, had violet liqueur in the cocktail, all of a sudden the aviation started to become popular again. This is my favourite way to make it. There are a lot of people who like to put in a bit more gin or put in less of the violet liqueur. I think this version has the best balance between all four flavours, and it's really such an interesting drink. So to make your aviation, you need 45 mils of gin, that's 1.5 ounces, and 7 mils of violet liqueur, which is about 1/4 ounce. You need 15 mils maraschino liqueur, so that's 1/2 ounce, and then 3/4 ounce of lemon juice, which is about 22 mils. Now, normally with lemon juice, I don't really care whether it's the lemon juice out of the bottle or whether it's freshly squeezed. With this drink, it makes a huge difference to have freshly squeezed lemon juice. Not only is the bottle lemon juice a bit stronger and you need to dial it down if you're going to use that, but also it tends to dominate the drink. You're also going to need a mixing glass, because this is one of the drinks that you stir rather than shake. So a mixing glass can just be any glass or cup that you've got which is wide enough to hold a handful of ice plus all the ingredients. So in my case, I'm just going to use the bottom half of a cocktail shaker. That works just fine. So to begin with, just add your gin, your violet liqueur, maraschino liqueur, and your lemon juice. And then all you need is a long-handled spoon. It doesn't have to be a proper bar spoon. Put it into the glass and then just stir quite vigorously for about 30 seconds. You want to make sure the drink gets nice and cold as well as nice and mixed. Try not to agitate the ice too much. Don't move the spoon back and forth through the ice. Try to keep the spoon on the outer edge, always touching the edge of the glass. Okay. And once that's done, grab your chilled cocktail glass. And now, if your lemon juicing skills are anything like mine, you're probably going to end up with some bits of lemon pulp left over in the mix. So you want to strain those out. When you pour the drink, just pour it through a very fine strainer. Strain it into the glass. So you'll notice that violet liqueur gives it a really beautiful, almost indigo sort of colour, and depending on the exact ratios, it can end up almost sky blue, hence the name Aviation. So that is the Aviation cocktail. Cheers!
Let's fly way up to the clouds, away from the maddening crowd.